Got a little extra time, a little extra money? I'm going to give you 7 places where you can actually donate your time and your money and immediately see the fruit of your labor. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, it's Sirwalterj of the Sirwalterj Jones Show. Hey, you got any extra cash on you? You got any extra time that you can donate and lend to the betterment of mankind? Or do I have good news for you today? I'm going to show you 7 places where you can put your money or your time in and you can literally see right before your eyes the fruit of your labor. It's telethon time. It's time to raise money. You turn on the TV, and you especially Christian television, and you'll see the preacher there in an arena with people in the audience. The band plays and the praise team is singing, and they're asking you for money because it's that time for that TV station or the radio station to raise money to help fray the expenses to be on the air. I remember watching PBS when I was younger and watching these amazing programs. And once a year, you'll also see public broadcast. I have a man or a woman, and a lot of people on the telephones. People are calling in to donate money for good programming. And one of my favorite shows back in the day was Zoom. Come on and zoom, 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 I zoom. Sesame Street. Big Bird and the Grouch and Kermit the Frog. Another great show was called The Electric Company. That scream, "Hey, you guys!" And there were some shows, there were documentaries or nature shows. American Experience was my favorite. And of course, nature shows entitled Nature. But my favorite of them all, hands down, would probably be the great Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I remember watching a congressional hearing where he came before the congressmen and women to ask for money for this new program. He was trying to raise about $20 million, I believe, for PBS, I think it's called the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
It's great to be able to stop when you've planned a thing that's wrong and be able to do something else instead and think this song. I can stop when I want to, can stop when I wish, can stop, stop, stop anytime. And what a good feeling to feel like this and know that the feeling is really mine. Know that there's something deep inside that helps us become what we can. For a girl can be someday a lady, and a boy can be someday a man.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Looks like you just earned the $20 million.
Well, Mr. Rogers got his money, and all through the 70s and the 80s, we were blessed to learn so much from Mr. Rogers, of course, Sesame Street and Zoom, Electric Company, and so many other programs on the public broadcast system. Now, that's one of the 7 that I can tell you for sure that you know that your money is going to something educational and something that can benefit mankind because you turn on the station and there it is because you gave your money. Another place that I can't really guarantee you unless you are a part of this particular place, it's called the church. Now, bear with me here because I do understand that there are a lot of churches out there that probably are some misappropriation of funds going on there. It's not a lot of dishonest things are going on in some of these churches. I get it. But if you are part of a church, especially if it's a smaller body, in many cases you know where the money is going towards because you are part of the church. whether you believing a tithing system or just giving a liberal offering, many of the churches that you belong to will once a year have a meeting with the members, and they have a printout, a financial statement and of all of the money that are allotted to, whether it's to the utilities or to salaries or to outreach. And many of the churches have food pantries and things like that. And so you can see where your money is going because you are a part of that church. So apparently the money that you're putting into that church, if the lights are still on and the gas is still on and the musicians are there, especially if they're salaried, you know that your money is going to good use for you. All right. And that's your choice to be a member of that church. And you probably, your grandmother or grandfather probably was one responsible for building that building. So I would say, and some would probably disagree with me because the belief system, but I believe number two, the church can be a good place to donate your money and see that it's being put to good use. The third place I think that you could put your money into and immediately see the outcome is a homeless shelter. Homeless shelters are everywhere. I can guarantee that wherever you live, there is a homeless shelter in your town. Men's shelter, a woman's shelter. I'm not sure if they have co-ed shelters, but they're there, and they're there to help people get back on their feet. There are women out there who are pregnant. They need a place to stay. These shelters are there for them. And a lot of the churches have started these places. There are private organizations that started these shelters. And sometimes what you need to do is just walk in there and talk to the organizers of these shelters and see what is it that you could do to assist these men and women to get back on their feet. That is a great place to go. Here in Chicago, there are several shelters, and every week, actually every day when I had a radio show, when I started my radio show several years ago, I would highlight a shelter every night, and I would call around and see which one will I adopt that day, and then we would have people call in or send money to that particular shelter. So I know for a fact that the shelters is a great place where you could put your money or your time in and immediately see the fruit of your labor. The fourth place where I know you can directly see where your money or time go to helping people is to go out in the street and talk to the poor. There are a lot of poor in your town, especially if you're in a major city. Again, I'm here in Chicago, but when I've traveled to California, I've traveled to New York, I've traveled to cities in Florida and in Alabama and in Mississippi, and I always see poor people. They're walking the street. I was in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and poor people were walking the street and they were begging. There's a poor person in your city. Here in Chicago, we had Lower Wacker Drive. Unfortunately, the city is cleaning up. There's these men and women who are living under expressways. The city are blocking those entrances and picking up their beddings and things like that, and in their cardboard boxes and discarding them. And so it's difficult. Here in the city, a lot of shelters are places where the mental ill are being treated. They're being shut down as well. But they're homeless, trying to find a place to go, and some of them are sleeping in abandoned buildings. So there is a place that you could go somewhere in your city and you'll find a homeless person and go and talk to them, witness to them. Some of them will not receive your money. Ask me how I know. I've offered money and they won't receive it. But all of them need to eat. And so find a way to get the food to them, whether you make some sandwiches and deliver it to them or take them to a restaurant. You'd be surprised at the conversation that comes out of that. Some of the most intelligent people that I know are living on the street. That is a great place where you could donate your time and your money and see directly, immediately, the fruit of your labor. The fifth place to donate your time or money, more so your money, is to the college student. Raise your hand. How many of you been there, done that? I know I have. Oh gosh, back in the 1980s. There, 1,200 miles away from home, don't really know anybody, and the cafeteria shuts down at around 5 o'clock. They serve their last meal at around 4 to 5 o'clock, and that's it. And you're left on your own, and you're in a room and you're not allowed a hot plate, a refrigerator, and things like that. When I was coming up, you wouldn't allow those things. We had to hide those things. So there are students there who need food. There's students, whether they're young adults or whether they're older, like myself, and they're there wondering where their next meal is going to come from. There's students who need books. The books are, as you know, are very expensive. They need shoes. They need clothing and things like that. And so every now and then at my church, I'll see some of the children who are going off to college. They graduate around June and then from high school, and then we see a list of students going off to college. And usually I get the address of these students because I like to put money in an envelope and I send it to the students or find out what their Cash App is. Everybody have one now, PayPal or what have you, or some as sophisticated as just writing them a check. But they all go to a good need for a needy cause. Trust me, these students, again, I remember it's 9 and 10 o'clock at night and my stomach is just rumbling. And if it wasn't for the invention for that great thing called the ramen noodle, if it wasn't for Mr. Ramen Noodle, last name, I don't know how I would have made it in college. So that's a great place where you could put your money in and know for a fact that it's going to a good use. Number 6, blood banks. I was watching the news just a few days ago, and they were talking about how there is a need for blood. All types of blood. A, B, O, negative, positive. I'm not sure what's going on, but there is a blood drive that's going on all over America, and there is a depletion. Something is going on, and they need blood. Now, the reason why I put this on the list because I've benefited from the blood banks. When I had a very serious accident, I got stabbed severely in my face and in my back and my chest, and I lost a lot of blood, and I needed transfusion, and the blood was there for me. And so in return, I would periodically go down. I don't wait for the drive to happen. I just head on down there to the Red Cross or whomever is in your town that do these things, and I give the blood. All right? It's important. There are a lot of people out there who are dying and they're in need of it, and so there is almost like a famine. And so that place, you know for a fact, what else are they going to do with the blood? So donate. This is not a money thing. This is a time thing, and this is your blood. And it is important because the blood, as you know, is the life source of all men. Give to the blood banks, and you'll be glad you did. Lastly, and certainly the least, number 7, the Sir Walter Jones Show. Yes, that's right. I never asked for money. I have been, we're celebrating about 9 years now being on the radio. And we have traveled from station to station to present to you good quality programming. And I thank God for me watching a lot of shows from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, good quality programming. I had an opportunity to visit a lot of recording studios and TV studios. I made cameo appearances on a lot of programs, especially here locally. I've written over 2,000 songs, and a few of my songs were played on the radio. And well, I decided to launch the Sir Walter Jones Show. I have hundreds of audio files on a website called SPREAKER.com. And on those shows, you'll notice from the few years that I've been doing them, thousands of people have tuned in. I never once asked for money. Never once. And then I began to move to other stations where I would operate on an AM station and FM station, and then we went to internet radio and never asked for money. If you're on my channel right here, right now, Those of you who are watching me on YouTube, you'll see the Sir Walter Jones channel, and you'll see the hundreds of videos that I have uploaded on every subject known to man. And notice, I never ask for money. And there are people who will come to me, inbox me on Facebook, or message me on YouTube, or send me an email and say, listen, we believe in giving money to those who have helped us, who educated us, who ministered to us. And I would drop my PayPal account, or they would ask for the Cash App, and some have literally asked for my mailing address. All right. And so today, I guess you could say this would be our 9th year telethon. Why not? Since the PBS do it, since the other religious programs do it, I'll do it. I don't feel comfortable doing it, which is why I saved it for number 7 last, because I just feel like I want to give. And that's what I've been doing for the past 9 years, giving content. And the Lord had to deal with me with this, because people have asked me, hey, listen, I'm getting ready to give you, and I have turned down people, and the Lord had to minister to me and tell me, don't do this, because people want to be a blessing. And God wants to bless them, and they want to bless you. And so allow them to do that. So I have to come out of this too humble state. One of my favorite scriptures is God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. I want to remain humble, but I guess at this moment in time, there are some things we do need. We need to always keep our equipment in tip-top condition. They break. The lightings in our studios, these light bulbs are expensive, and our equipment, sometimes they break, or we need to upgrade because of the technology world we in. I buy equipment today and next year is out of date, because there are things that social media does where you need to upgrade and what have you. So we are calling out to those of you who feel that you can give to the Sir Walter Jones Show. We do have a Cash App, Sir Walter J, and we do have a PayPal, paypal.me/Sir Walter. And if you're on YouTube, you just look in the content below and you'll see where you could give to us. Now, the reason why I put this on the list is because you see right now where it goes. And those of you who know the ministry of Sir Walter, you see me in the street, and you see me not just hanging around the churches. I attend worship. I believe in the Sabbath worship, but you'll see me all week long in particular neighborhoods. You'll see me in the homeless shelters, male and female. You'll see me at the blood banks. You'll see me walking the streets, maybe downtown. You'll see me Lower Wacker Drive. You see me giving of my time and my money, because I believe it's important. And I thank God that the Lord has blessed me to raise my children to do the same thing. They are my heroes. They may look up to me, but I look up to my children. And I have a lot of friends out there who give to the needy. And you can go on Facebook to our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is called Generational Wealth for African Americans. That's Generational Wealth for African Americans. And you'll see where we teach and we try to inspire those. You don't have to be an African American to benefit from it, but those of you who have businesses, we try to promote your businesses. And many of you are sending me your books, and I do reviews of your books, and I do them free of charge, and so that the people could go to Amazon or wherever your books are sold, and so that they can support you. That's what my life is all about, and I thank God for it. So why not ask you to help us so that we can continue to give you good quality programming. And there's some people who may disagree with some of my teachings, and that's fine. There are people who will never ever give, whether it's to me or whether it's to the other 6 that I mentioned there. For those of you who are against that type of attitude or spirit, don't bother them. And the Lord will deal with them, and one day may quicken their hearts to give. And so don't beat up the people who don't want to give. And especially don't beat up the people who cannot give. They cannot give. They can't even, some can't give not even $1 because of the situation, financial situation that they're in at home. And so don't be too hard on them. But there are others who do have the money and they will never give. That's in their heart. The Lord may do something for them and give them time. So I'm asking you, if you can, give to the Sir Walter Jones Show, and trust me, If you go on and type my name on the Google spheres, you'll see my work. It goes to a good cause. All right, well, that's my time. I appreciate it, and I pray that the Lord continue to fill your buckets so that you're able to take those buckets and do something wonderful for the people of God. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and pray for your nation, and pray for the United States of America. This is the Sirwalterj Jones Show.
Let's just take 10 seconds to think of some of those people who have loved us and wanted what was best for us in life. Those who have encouraged us to become who we are tonight. Just 10 seconds of silence. I'll watch the time. No matter where they are, either here or in heaven, imagine how pleased those people must be to know that you thought of them right now. We all have only one life to live on earth, and through television, we have the choice of encouraging others to demean this life or to cherish it in creative, imaginative ways. On behalf of all of us at Family Communications and the Public Broadcasting Service, I thank you for all the good that you do in this unique enterprise and for wanting our neighborhood to be a part of this celebration tonight.